This is Source F. It's written by a man named David Hunt, who is a historian and a comedian who's written a very funny book called Gert, The Unauthorized History of Australia, published, I believe, in 2014. This is on page 85. Philip, that's Arthur Phillip, had asked for healthy young men and breeding women for his colony, but was given Dorothy Handland, a sprightly 82-year-old perjurer, and Elizabeth Beckford, a septuagenarian cheese thief. That means someone who is over 70 years old. The youngest convict was John Hudson, a 13-year-old chimney sweep who had been imprisoned since the age of 9. This is a little bit of information about the different types of convicts we had there, but also the expectation that Arthur Phillip had of the type of people that he would be getting. Now we're on to source G. Is written by a lady called Deborah Oxley, published in a book called The World Upside Down. It's chronicles from 1788 to 1830. This particular chapter is on the experience of convict women. So in the early years in particular, this seemed a strange society. Among the whites, so the Europeans, the English and the Irish who have come in, there were hardly any older people or children, but there were an awful lot of men. Transportation was a very masculine phenomenon. Means there's lots of guys there. The figures are a little inexact, but between 1788 and 1830, around 55,000 convict men arrived in Australia. At the same time, only 8,500 women came. We are unsure whether this sex imbalance worked for or against the women. Minorities sometimes get marginalized. Conversely, if you're in demand, the fewer competitors, the better. The last source that we have here is Source H, also written by Deborah Oxley in The World Upside Down. This is what she says. But penal transportation, that's convict transportation, could also be crafted to have a secondary role, colonization. We talked about this word at the start of the term. Establishing a self-replicating society required many things, chief among them, healthy young women. And it was healthy young women who were transported. Mainly they were aged in their 20s and 30s. So too were the convict men and the guards. To undertake the journey they had to be identified as fit. And after some disastrous experiences in the early years, considerable effort was put into the care of convicts both in transit and in Australia. The outcome was a population of women and men in the most productive and reproductive phases of their lives. So using some of the sources we heard before, maybe we can create a picture of the purpose of convict women in Australia.